My name is Brendan Tierney. I'm here with Trevor Yandow from Villanova Television. We now want to welcome on the head coach of Villanova's men and women's swim and dive team, Rick Simpson. Coach Simpson is in his 21st season with the team and has led the women's team to seven straight Big East championships, winning the Women's Big East Coach of the Year last year. Hi, Coach. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much, guys, for having me on. Really excited to join you.
Yeah. So, as a winter sport, how was your season impacted, if at all, with the students being sent home last spring?
So last spring, we really were not impacted. We actually were one of the lucky groups that literally just got their season in. As a matter of fact, we finished up the Big East championships the weekend with the start of spring break, and then it was the week after we returned from spring break that everything sort of began to unravel. So we made it by the skin of our teeth, and it's just heartbreaking for the other student athletes, the spring student athletes in the building, to watch what they went through. And I think it left us with feeling very, very grateful that we were able to complete our season with just a few days remaining before things really began to unravel.
So, with your season this year being pushed back, could you elaborate on like the plan and timeline to getting back to those regularly scheduled meets?
Well, it's funny. That's sort of the big mysterious question. We started on September 15th, I believe the date was, with introducing our athletes back into the building, very small groups, doing so without really a competitive plan. And here we are, middle of October, and we still don't have a solid competitive plan. A couple of things have come up along the way. We did get a sort of a line in the sand, if you will, from the Big East Conference that no competition would happen until at least January 1st of 2021. But once we get beyond that date, as we speak right here now today, we do not have a solid idea. Obviously, a lot of it depends on what regulations and policies are in place here on our campus relative to visiting teams, but also other campuses, their ability to travel, their ability to host us. So there's just so much that's still up in the air right now. It's I think we've kind of gone through the frustration phase to now we're sort of in the numb phase. We've kind of embraced that this is the way the world works, and we wake up every day, we come in here, we work with our athletes, and we adjust accordingly on a daily basis.
So some of the other conferences, I know like the NESCAC have canceled their swim season or talked about like completely not having one this year. How confident are you that you will be able to have a season in some capacity? And like, what are you talking to your athletes about that?
Yeah, I think, that's really unfortunate. It's so sad to hear that some of these conferences and not even even other universities, Westchester University right down the street, they've already made decisions to not return to campus academically, and they have shut down their sports program for the entire year. And I just feel so bad for those athletes. I feel really fortunate that, the Big East Conference and Villanova and all the other Big East institutions, member institutions, they're going to do everything they can to keep that opportunity alive, as long as it's safe and it's fitting within the national and the local and the state guidelines. We're not going to be, I have all the faith in the world, we're not going to be doing anything that's so, cutting edge that everybody's going to be looking at us like we're crazy. But I do think there's going to be a healthy level of aggressiveness. Again, you don't ever want to see it be too cautious where you're standing at months later saying, gee, we saw that with the Big Ten football, right? They made some premature decisions and they kind of pulled that back. I think the Big East is doing a great job of saying, hey, we're going to stick to the plan until we are forced to do otherwise. That's the most we can ask. As far as my confidence level, I do have a ton of confidence that we're going to have some type of season. Now, what that's going to look like and when it'll start and when it will end, who knows? But we wake up every morning, we walk in here with the anticipation that something's going to happen.
So how are you and the other coaches dealing with the new regulations and like helping the swimmers through like this unprecedented time to be those and to perform at the top level?
Yeah, it's funny. We talk to our team all the time. about, just dealing with the adversity, dealing with the idea that, swimming people by nature are working the definites, right? We've you win a swimming race by 2/100ths of a second, you won. If somebody beats you by 2/100ths of a second, you got second place. There's no referee that needs to go in a back room and figure that out. So we do tend to, we're a group of people that we work on the definites, and now we're into a world where nothing is definite, everything is up in the air, and we're trying to educate our athletes on that. As coaches, we struggle with it as much as anybody, because we tend to be planners. We tend to design training programs that are very physiologically driven and targeting certain peak training or competition dates throughout the year. We don't know what those competition dates are. So, this is my 21st year at Villanova, and I feel like I'm a brand new coach, because I'm forced to coach in ways that I've never done before, and it's completely outside my comfort zone. But I think we're trying to make the most of it. We're opening up next week with an intramural style of a series of meets that will be within these walls only in our team, and it's a cumulative point system, sort of like a race series with cumulative points, and there'll be champions crowned the weekend before we leave for Thanksgiving. So we're just trying to stay focused on that. That we can control. We stay focused on that. What's going to happen and when we start in January? Right now, we can't control that. So we just can't allow their minds to wander too far down the road right now.
So obviously you've talked a little bit about the in-season changes. How have your recruiting and other off-season activities been impacted? Obviously this summer has been very, very different.
Yeah. So, well, we did notice a timeline shift in the commitments of our athletes. So if you go back a year and a half, so a year ago, April, we had 3 back-to-back recruiting weekends, large recruiting weekends. I think the biggest weekend we had, 19 prospects in one weekend. Shortly thereafter, the commitments started to roll in. So a good chunk of our recruiting class was done middle of the summer, of those athletes going into their senior year of high school. This year, we had to cancel. We had all those visits scheduled for April. They all got canceled. And so that whole commitment calendar really shifted to more of late summer, early fall. We literally just wrapped that up. So it had a significant impact on the calendar, and there's certain things in the recruiting process that we really miss. We miss having those prospects come onto our campus. It gives us an opportunity to vet them out a little bit, get to know them a little bit better. It gives them the opportunity to get to know our program a little bit deeper. In some cases, once they leave here, they realize Villanova is not right for them. We've kind of lost that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the freshman class does next year. I don't want to use the word sight unseen, but for some of them, it really has been sight unseen. It's been limited to Zoom meetings similar to this, talking to coaches. We've done some Zoom open houses, but it's not the same as being here, living the experience for 48 hours. And so time will tell on how that's going to play out.
Yeah, and along that, you've really helped grow and greatly improve the swim program over your 20 seasons here. So how do you plan on maintaining that level of success into the future?
There'll be a challenge, I think. I really do. I think, and I appreciate that's a very nice comment that you made. But the truth is, the athletes that have come through this program are the ones that have built this program and really have established the culture. I think as coaches, where we have kind of contributed to that is selecting the right people that are the right fit for Villanova. So to answer your question, moving in the future, I think one of the challenges will be, did we really do a good job selecting the right fit for Villanova? And will that have an impact or continue to have a positive impact on the culture of the program? We hope so. We're going to do everything we can as coaches to really roll up our sleeves and work hard to make that happen. But, again, a really important part of it is having them here, spending time with our athletes. Our current athletes are our best investigators out there. They are the ones that come and say, hey, look, I know you're really hot on this athlete, but after 2 days of that person being here, we don't think that Villanova will be a good fit for them, whether it's our philosophy about, our academic philosophy, our faith-based component, our commitment to the community. I mean, you guys know what Villanova is all about. It's different in a great way, but it might not be right for everybody. So I think that's going to be a challenge we're going to really have to keep an eye on over the next couple of years.
So just one final question, like what goals do you have for this season? Obviously being very different, but also for seasons to come for the rest of your tenure.
Well, this season, I've told the team this many times. Right now, our main goal is to have our current athletes having a great positive experience. Now, that should be the goal every year. However, as a Division I program, on top of that particular goal, there's also the competitive goals. And I'd like to think, right now, I'd say the competitive goals should, as a Division I program, should be sort of the top tier, but also making sure they're having a great experience while they're doing it. This year is a little bit different. Again, we don't know what our competitive situation is going to look like. So what we do know is what's our day-to-day experience like? Is this the highlight of their day? I mean, are our student athletes coming through this building saying, hey, I've had a brutal day. I've been in the lab for 3.5 hours, kind of looking forward to getting over to the pool and working out and being around my teammates. If that's not what they're thinking, then we need to adjust. Just the the competitive goals right now have to be secondary, because it's, how do you set competitive goals when you don't know what you're setting goals for right now? We know it's going to be out there. We just don't know what it is. So that's its day to day. And down the future, to answer your question about the future, I'm kind of optimistic that we're going to return to a normal. I don't like that phrase, new normal. New normal happens every day when you wake up and get out of bed, right? I mean, but I would like to believe that we're going to go back to what we would consider a normal, where you walk into the pavilion, there's 6,500 people stuffed in there going crazy on a Wednesday night, or we're getting on a bus to head down to Georgetown or up to UConn, and it's going to be a crazy meet. It's going to be awesome. That's going to happen. I'm very confident when. I'm hoping it'll be sooner rather than later, but I'm hoping to get it back on track soon.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to meet with us. We know you have a busy schedule, and we really appreciate you getting to talk to us about all the COVID restrictions you have. So thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is great. Appreciate it.